Let's just jump right in. Today, we're unpacking a really terrifying modern threat that you've probably seen making headlines everywhere. We're breaking down the actual anatomy of an AI scam. Specifically, we're going to look at what happens when you pick up the phone, you hear a panicked loved one on the other end, but it turns out to be a machine. We'll explore exactly how these scammers are pulling this off, and more importantly, how you can build an absolute fortress around your family.
So, imagine we're right in the middle of the action. You answer your phone and it's your kid pleading for help. A few years ago, you'd know instantly if it was really them. But, well, scammers have evolved. They've created what's essentially an AI fake emergency. And what's truly terrifying here is how they are weaponizing our deepest protective instincts. It's gotten so good that our ears literally can't trust what they're hearing anymore. See, in a real crisis, you hear a familiar voice in distress. But the fake emergency takes that exact same voice and heaps on extreme time pressure, demands for absolute secrecy, and, usually, an immediate request to transfer money.
To really grasp how this works, we need to demystify the tech for a second. Look, voice cloning, it's not sci-fi anymore. It's here. Basically, it's just using artificial intelligence to create a near-perfect, synthetic imitation of a specific person's voice. And the crazy part is, they only need a tiny audio sample to do it. The barrier to entry has completely vanished. This software is incredibly cheap and easy to use now. In fact, authorities all over the US and Europe are warning that these synthetic media tools, these deepfakes and voice clones, are massively accelerating fraud globally.
And it's shockingly simple. It really comes down to just 3 quick steps. Step 1. A scammer scrapes a tiny audio clip. We're talking maybe just 30 seconds of audio, from a public video, a random voice note, or one of those social media quizzes. Step 2, they feed that clip into an AI generator. And Step 3, they call you up with a fabricated crisis. Just like that, they're speaking to you in your family member's exact voice. They don't have to hack your bank account, you know? They just hack your trust using a few digital breadcrumbs you left online.
Now, scammers know they have to bypass your logical brain to pull this off. So they rely heavily on 3 major red flags. I like to call these the pressure brakes: extreme urgency, strict secrecy, and money requests. They're going to scream at you to act immediately, don't tell anyone, and wire funds right now. And why do they do that? Well, it's to block you from independently verifying what's going on. If you're panicked and feel isolated, you aren't thinking critically. If you see all 3 of these elements in a single call or message, that is your absolute cue to hit the brakes.
So how do we fight back? Well, it starts with a fundamental mindset shift. In the age of AI, a familiar voice is no longer proof of identity. You have to start treating the voice as just a clue, not confirmation. Hearing your loved one on the phone is literally just one piece of the puzzle now. If the message creates panic and tries to rush you, that's exactly when you need to slow down. It's okay to be a little difficult and try to verify the facts. Because think about it, in a real emergency, verification is still totally possible. In a scam, verification breaks their entire story.
All right, so let's talk about the ultimate defense. And I actually love this part because we get to pivot away from all this high-tech fear and look at a remarkably simple, low-tech solution, a family safe word. This right here is your human firewall. You absolutely do not need to be a cybersecurity expert to deploy this. You just need some clear, calm communication with your trusted inner circle.
Setting up an effective safe word is super easy. Just follow a few ground rules. First, make sure it's totally unique. No birthdays, no pet names, definitely no common passwords. An inside joke is honestly perfect, as long as an outsider couldn't possibly guess it. Second, keep it completely private offline. Please never post it online. You can throw it in an encrypted password manager if you really need to remember it. And third, practice using it. By setting up this unique, pre-agreed code phrase that only your trusted group knows, and actually practicing it so you remember it when you're stressed, you instantly stop an AI scam dead in its tracks. If the voice on the other end doesn't know the word, just hang up.
Alongside that safe word, your other ultimate defense mechanism is taking a 60-second pause. When that frantic call comes in, just stop. Take 1 full minute and ask yourself, okay, how can I verify this story without using the instructions, the link, or the phone number they literally just gave me? Honestly, taking that minute to breathe is the absolute best defense against social engineering.
We can actually build this into a really solid reaction protocol. Okay, so at 0 seconds, the moment they ask for money, you ask for the safe word. If they stumble or try to dodge the question, then at 15 seconds, you hang up the phone. Even if they're begging you to stay on the line, just hang up. Then at 30 seconds, call the person right back on a known, saved number from your own contacts list.
Don't just hit redial, okay? Call the number you already have saved. Remember, there is no real emergency out there that forbids a quick callback.
You can also be proactive here and basically starve these scammers of their raw materials by practicing something called data minimalism. Step 1, go ahead and set your social media profiles to private. Step 2, try to limit long public videos where your kids or family members speak super clearly. And Step 3, just review your follower lists regularly and clear out strangers. Look, you're just tightening up your privacy settings. You don't have to go completely off the grid or stop sharing fun memories with your real friends. It just makes cloning your family's voices much, much harder for the bad guys.
Now, let's say the worst happens. If you or a loved one do accidentally fall for this, and hey, these scams are incredibly sophisticated, so it happens. It is absolutely vital to act quickly but stay calm. Secure your evidence first. Take screenshots of the messages, the phone numbers, any payment requests, and do this before you block them. Next, contact your bank immediately to see if you can stop the payments. And finally, go file a police report. AI fraud is a serious crime, and reporting it actually helps authorities track their patterns and catch them.
It's so incredibly important that we normalize talking about this threat. Seriously, hear me on this. Falling for a scam doesn't make you foolish, it just makes you human. All the shame belongs entirely to the perpetrator. Whether you're a teenager tricked by a fake friend request or a grandparent terrified by a cloned voice, these scammers are just exploiting our best qualities, our love, our empathy, and our desire to help out. So keep an open door policy with your kids and your parents. If something feels off, they need to know they can come to you safely without worrying about getting in trouble.
Which leaves us with one final, really critical question to ask ourselves every single time the phone rings or a frantic text pops up. In a world where technology can perfectly mimic the faces and voices of the people we love most, are you going to let panic control you, or will you have the discipline to pause and verify? Go set up that family safe word today. Always think before you trust.